Hello, friends. This is MZ4250, and today I'm gonna recap what I made in October of 2022. Last month was a really productive month, and I also collaborated with my friend Mia at M3DM and made lots of spooky models, on top of Patreon requests as well as some personal projects, and also working on creatures from Monsters of the Multiverse. So, here is what I made, and I hope you guys like what I made. So first, we have these 5 adventurers that are for my latest D&D campaign. From left to right, there is a human barbarian who turns purple when he uh, rages. It's an alchemical accident. Then there's a lizard folk sorcerer. Then there's my character, a Aasimar paladin. Then there's a Yuan-ti ranger and a halfling alchemist uh, artificer. And yeah, they were all 3D printed by me and painted, and I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. Next, I made a gazebo. It's just a gazebo. That's it. Just a sad gazebo. It's really, it's kind of sad. I don't know. I guess I'm kind of just giving up. Ha! Just kidding. It's the Dread Gazebo. Take that, sucker. But yeah, really fun sculpting project once I made the gazebo itself. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. Next is a kitty. It's a witchy kitty. One of the spooky models I made last month. Yeah, it's just a cute cat. No, that's it. It's cute. Here's a Gouth. It's a Beholderkin. That's extra creepy. I'm rather proud of this guy. Here is the Demi-Lich. This is a model that I used during the conclusion of my Tomb of Horrors campaign. 3D printed by me and painted. Pretty easy to paint actually, just a lot of shading and highlights and stuff, but it's pretty good. It's very tiny. Here's the Flail Snail from Monsters of the Multiverse, and pretty good sculpting project. Rather proud of this guy. He's just so pretty. Here is an Arachnomancer with his latest catch, just coming in giving it thumbs up. I think this guy has a lot of personality, so I really like him. Here's a Drow Matron Mother with nice armor, and pretty happy with how she turned out too. Same model, just without the armor. Here is a Elder Elemental, the Tempest. Pretty fun. This originally was something I made back in Mordekaisen's Tomb of Foes, but I obviously gave it a nice update. Nice cloudy texture and all. Here is the Fire Dreadnought, or the Fire Giant Dreadnought. I went ahead and made sure to rig him up a little bit, so that way he can look like he's pushing towards the adventurers. So I'm pretty proud of that guy. Here's a Fire Newt Warlock of Imix. It's a pretty cute little guy. And of course a Fire Newt themselves. This was a fun model to sculpt into. And yeah, it's pretty nice. Here's a Noel Flynn. I really enjoyed working on this guy. Nice rigging and sculpting project. And yeah, the guy came up pretty good. This is Fraz Erbleu. He's a demon lord, and yeah, he's pretty cool. I don't know why. It's just kind of creepy too, but yeah. Here's a Frog Hemoth. Big old fella. I actually used this guy in one of my games recently. But yeah, nice, updated, sculpted, rigged up. Very, very creepy. This is a Frost Giant Everlasting one. This was a model I actually made back in Volo's Guide, but obviously I've thrown in lots and lots of updates and extra details, so pretty nice. Then we have a Crystal Weird from Ravnica. Yeah, just a very simple sculpting project. I took like a base humanoid and then just started adding all the sculpted crystalline details, and yeah, it came out alright. This is another Beholderkin. This is a Gazer, and he is very, very little, but he is adorable nonetheless. So I think he's cute. This is Gurion, a Devil Lord. Pretty fun sculpting project. Rather enjoyed working on the skin texture on him. So yeah, it's pretty dope. And over here is a Giant Strider. This was a fun rigging and sculpting project. I made a version that was also a mount, so you can like place your own miniatures on him, like something that you've already rigged up on your own. And then I also made a Fire Newt rider with this guy. So yeah, pretty good. Next is a Grelion, really fun sculpting and rigging project. Then I have a Gnoll Flesh Gnawer, a Gnoll Hunter, a Goblinoid Tooth Fairy. This was a fun sculpting project, and yeah, I think it came out pretty good. Next up, we have the Grim Reaper, another one of the spooky models I made last month. Pretty happy with how he turned out. And I have a terrain piece. There's a group of melted candles. It's kind of neat. I don't make terrain pieces often, so it's always fun to tap into that every once in a while. Here's a human female druid that a patron requested, and I think she came out alright. I made an alternate version that has a, more generic wizard staff, so now she's a wizard. She's a wizard. D&D player. Here's a human fighter with a House Skull Basilet helmet. I don't make unique helmets very often, so it's kind of nice to do this every once in a while. This is an Arakara archer. Here is a Jakuli snake that I 3D printed for one of my games. Here is a fairy dragon. And here's a body covered in webs. Here is Nordom, a modern NPC. A gravesite terrain piece. The Chupacabra. This is one of my favorite ones from last month. Also because I'm Puerto Rican, so, the Puerto Rican variant I think is kind of cool. I mean, nothing wrong with the Central American Mexican version that's like, kind of looks like a dog, but I like mine better. Here is a cultist in a worshipping pose. Here's a pile of skulls, another terrain piece. Here's a Warforged fighter that I made for one of my patrons. This is another patron request. It was a Rooster Arakara. Here is a Frost Salamander, big old fella. Another spooky model from last month, a Scarecrow. This is actually a terrain piece, but it could technically be used as a mini too. Here is Severin with the dragon crown of Tiamat. And then here's Severin just by himself. And this is a spooky ghost. It's totally not just some kid who threw on a sheet and is trying to scare people. Totally. A summoning circle terrain piece. It's just a grave. Just a grave. Nothing really special about that. It's kind of sad, actually. I don't know. I think I'm kind of starting to give up. Nah, I'm kidding. It's a mimic. Take that, sucker. Sorry. Here is a Ublutan. Really bizarre creature. This is another fun patron request. Here is Wajet, the goddess of Lower Egypt. Another patron request. Pretty happy with that. Here is a walking statue of Waterdeep, the warrior. Here's a zombie raven. Here's a zombie raven, but you know, on the ground. Another terrain piece, a group of zombies bursting out of the ground. And a dancing skeleton. So there you go, friends. Those are all the models that I made last month, and I'm rather proud of how they turned out. But yeah, it was a good month. Got 60 models done. I did some collaboration with my good friend Mia over at M3DM. And yeah, it was just really good. It was just a really good month. I got to 7,300 patrons again. That was pretty cool. And you know what? I just made art and really enjoyed myself. So there you go. But anyway, YouTube, just wanted to give you a nice little summary of October, and I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. I'll try to do these more often, at least once a month, and I'll see about any other live streams that I can tack onto here. But I guess that's that. On to November. This month, I'm going to continue working on the Monsters of the Multiverse book, and you know, I'll work on patron requests too when possible. So yeah, it's going to be another busy one. So we'll see how it goes. Anyway, that's all for me for now. I hope you all have a great new month as well. Take care, stay awesome, and keep an eye out for my stuff. This is MZ4250. Follow me on Patreon, Twitter, here, wherever you want. And yeah, time to make some art.